Japanese scary stories. Natsuno-san. Jizo with neck. Hey, do you guys know Jizo with a neck ? It's a few years ago. We were in the third year of college at the time. The season is summer. It was when the three of us were having lunch at the university cafeteria. Kei, who loves ghost stories, started talking in the middle of a chat. Jizo with a neck, you're an ordinary Jizo. S, who was sitting next to me and drinking miso soup, said that he made a fool of himself. K, S and me. K is a large serving of curry, S is a salmon set meal, and I am soy sauce ramen. It was the usual menu and the usual members. But if it was Necklace Jizo, I can't remember for sure, but you may have heard it in some ghost story. It will also be a story. However, K said, Jizo with a neck. As S says, it's an ordinary Jizo with a neck. It's a little. Well, there are already 5 Jizo around that Jizo. Except for the one of Jizo with a neck, everything is crazy. I see. So is it Jizo with a neck? I imagined that. Of the 6 Jizo, only one has a neck. Hey, why is that so? That's the story of Jizo, who has only one neck, slamming the necks of other Jizo. This is. With that said, Kei put out his tongue and made a gesture to scrape his neck with a spoon. But what's the benefit of Jizo? Come on? I don't know. You wanted to monopolize the offering, Mon? When Kei replied, S coughed. Then I took out the pocket tissue and wiped her mouth. Idiot. You got stuck in your throat, didn't you? What's my fault? S says to the dissatisfied Kei, it's your fault. As for me, I was beginning to be a little interested in the Jizo. So Kei, come on. Is there anything else about Jizo with its neck? Oh, there is. After all, Jizo with a neck attacks people. At that moment, S coughed again. It's starting to move night after night, it seems that people's necks will be cut off, right? While mumbling, isn't there a neck? I don't need a neck. I was wandering around the temple. Stop it, I'm having difficulty breathing now. S was in tears, probably because she coughed. What's S? I don't have a romance. Can't you believe my story? What's the romance? Kei, you apologize to the Jizo right away. That's it. Kei shouted. When I was surprised, a piece of ramen came out of my nose. It's been a long time, like this. Let's go tonight? Check it out, we'll do it. If the rumor is a lie, I'll apologize for anything, Kei says. S looked up at her ceiling as if stunned. You think it has started again? Kei likes to go to such spots, so-called courage testers. Until now, Kei has come up with the idea, I agree with it, and S has been pulled, and I have visited such places with so many times. Well, tonight, it's decided to try your best at Jizo with a neck. Kei forcibly advances the story. I looked at me as S asked for salvation. While sipping ramen, I laugh at S. S shook her head silently, screaming with a half laugh. Is it near that Jizo? Oh. What is XX Temple? When I heard her name, S's drooping neck rose a little and her eyebrows snapped. After that, she had a voice that only I could hear next to me. That's right. Is it a XX Temple? He muttered. I wondered what the hell was. Unfortunately, I couldn't hear it because my mouth was full of ramen at that time. After that, without knowing the timing of listening, the specific meeting place and time were decided while saying that. The dexterity of Kei in such cases is tremendous. However, it hurts that it is not usually exhibited. In this way, we decided to go to Jizo, which has the head of XX Temple, on that day. In the middle of the night, we were supposed to meet individually at the foot of the mountain where XX Temple is located. The XX Temple is built on the top of a small mountain overlooking the city we live in, adjacent to the observatory. There are hundreds of stone steps leading up to the temple, and I didn't know that the target Jizo is on the way. The meeting time is 11 o'clock. I was the only one who kept the time. After waiting for 15 minutes, Kei, who said he was late for a part-time job, and S, who said he overslept, came almost at the same time. On a hot and humid summer night, which is called a tropical night, we headed to the place where Jizo was located, sweating with a flashlight in one hand. Especially because I'm lacking in exercise on a daily basis. I climbed the stone steps while chasing the two people in front of me. Was it just past the mountainside? Kei's voice, "Hey, come early." There was. Echoed from Oita. When I caught up with them, the side of the stone steps became a little open space for a break. 6 Jizo statues were lined up in a row at the end of the square. I take a turbulent breath, and then illuminate the Jizo with a light. Certainly, the Jizo, who are a little shorter than my waist, have no neck, except for the second one from the right. Now, one thing is clear. At least, this Jizo isn't wandering at night. S says to K in half a teasing tone. "I'm sorry. Fuckyou. Man's eye combination is still clear today. What's that? It's boring. At night, Jizo-san, I was expecting him to have a sickle. I almost rushed in without thinking where the god of death was. But, the other Jizo really don't have a neck." "What, K? Have you never been here?" From what I said today, I thought K had been here many times. "No. It's just fun to hear from rumors. I thought I'd come to see it. It's a bit out of place. This Jizo is officially stroked Jizo. Suddenly, S said to mutter. "What is it? Are you familiar with this Jizo?" Hey. Look, this Jizo is shining." S illuminates Jizo's head with the light of a flashlight. That being said, only the head was relatively neat to the old body of this Jizo. If you touch it, you'll understand it better. Originally, when I stroked while making a wish, it was said that the wish would come true, so it happened because I was stroked too much. I wondered if that was the case, and I gently stroked the slippery head of Jizo with a neck. It feels like I'm stroking a bowling ball. Stroking and comfortable. I still know people who know it. It seems that it was more famous in the past. Speaking of Jizo by stroking the XX temple. But that's the reason. Both K and I were silently listening to S's story. I felt that the way he talked about old tales was a little different from the usual S. It seems to be about 30 years ago. There was an incident where only the necks of all 6 bodies were stolen. Only the necks were cleanly taken. The criminal is unknown. Maybe it was just a fun criminal, or someone who wanted to monopolize the benefits of Jizo by stroking it. Hey, wait a minute. Then what's this neck? K says. I thought that too. It's a natural question. I asked a craftsman to replace only the neck of Jizo. I took a look at Jizo again. It looks like there are some cracks around the neck. The reason why only the head is beautiful is that it is not just because people stroke it. But even if I repaired it, the neck part would have been weakened. After that, Jizo's neck, which had been patted by everyone, was taken off one by one. The second time, the temple didn't feel like fixing it either. Even so, it's just a matter of showing yourself and saving the people, or Jizo's true feelings. When I heard that, I was a little strange. For S's knowledge of this Jizo. Even if you have prepared in advance, you may not know too much. The dull K next door must have thought so. It seems that we have doubts about that. S scratched his head a little badly. When I was little, I still had 2 bodies left. Neck, S said. Actually, I'm the one who has the 5th neck. Speaking of unexpected development, it may have been so. But from S's narrative, I couldn't feel the confession of sin or such a heavy thing. It was just like telling an old story of failure. Once upon a time, when I came to this temple with my family, I was stroking the head of Jizo. If you stroke while wishing, that wish will come true, right? I was a twisted kid, so I said while stroking. What did you say? When K asks, S gives up on her shoulder and twist off. What? I shouted, twist off. While stroking it. Then it really twists and comes off. According to S's story, there was a rustling noise, and Jizo's neck fell toward S in front of her. At that time, S said that Jizo looked like nodding. Well, it just happened that the limits overlapped with when I was stroking. Even so, I was really surprised at that time. I wondered if this was a benefit. After that, a boy came from the upper temple. I was so angry. While saying, S crouched down in front of Jizo and put his hand on his head. Then, while slowly stroking Jizo's head, he spoke the word quite naturally, neither screaming nor muttering. This is, twist off. Climbing. There was a dull sound. The next moment, Jizo's head wasn't where it should be. The sound of a heavy object falling on the ground. Wow is my voice. S was staring at Jizo with her hand outstretched. Oh. It really twists and comes off. K raises a voice of admiration. Well, there are times like this. S kept calm to the last. She approaches K to her fallen neck and pokes, what's going on? I couldn't decide how to catch the phenomenon that happened in front of me. Did he break through the limit by being stroked by S on the night of today? Or did Jizo listen to S's wishes? Do you want to go home? S suddenly muttered while slowly standing up on the spot. What about Jizo? I can't help. S really intended to go home like this. But I can't do anything about it. The matter of compensation goes through my head. It's just a touch. I was blown away just by the wind, S said, as if he had seen through his psychology. However, when it comes to that, I have no choice but to go home all the time. Are you going home? In this way, the headed Jizo became a headless Jizo. Congratulations, congratulations. Did not go. When S and I were about to return, only K was still at Jizo's neck. We didn't notice it and were trying to go home first. Isn't there a neck? I heard a voice. When I turned around, K stood expressionless, holding the neck of Jizo, who had fallen earlier, in both hands. What? When I asked back, K said again. I don't need a neck, do you have one? How should we express the state of K at that time? I knew that it wasn't a K that could make such a high-level joke, and that it wasn't the usual K. If there is, I'll get it? No. Even with your neck, No. The answer was S. At least we don't have a neck. Really? K dropped Jizo's neck on the ground. There was a banging sound. At that moment, K's body quivered as if electricity had run. What? I was sleeping. Does K not remember his words and actions? Do you know? I'll be back. S says so, and she quickly goes through the square and tries to go down the stairs. Well, wait a minute. What? Explain. After S, she hurriedly follows K. I stayed there for a while, staring at Jizo's neck, which had fallen to the ground vaguely. The feeling of mystery and scary did not come to me at all. Was Jizo still going to work? To fulfill people's wishes. By the way, when I stroked Jizo, I had no idea of any wishes. Suddenly, I lifted Jizo's neck. Heavy. It's really heavy. After checking the cut surface, I put Jizo's neck back in place. And I stroked it. Coo, stick together. Gently let go. The neck did not fall again. It was time to step back, and I chased them and left the place. After a while, it seems that the Jizo of XX Temple has been demolished without a neck, K told me. How many are they? I decided not to ask.